Our next guest has built his company in the app ecosystem. Walter Driver is the CEO of Scopely, a social gaming startup that makes games like The Walking Dead and Dice with Alan. Walter, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So I'm interested, Walter, in your take on what has made Apple's ecosystem work so well relative to, say, Facebook's ecosystem, where some of your early efforts in social gaming were. That kind of puttered out.
Yeah, I think the mobile app ecosystem has been a much better place for developers to build sustainable long-term businesses over the last 9 years. I mean, we're seeing massive growth of App Store revenues, $28 billion paid out to developers in 2016, which was up 40% year over year for Apple. And gaming companies represent the largest segment of that revenue. And we've seen companies now like Supercell that were built entirely on the App Store reached $10 billion valuations just in the last 9 years. So we think that the mobile app ecosystem and the App Store has supported much more durable long-term businesses.
Now, these are, in a way, two completely different issues. Apple selling movies on iTunes, they've been doing that for a lot longer than the App Store has been around. But I wonder your take on this. I mean, yes, Amazon and Comcast, the parent of this network, are getting more on-demand viewership. But is that really a threat to Apple's strength in the business, or is it more a commentary on how digital viewing overall, you think, is shaping up?
I think it's more of a commentary on how digital viewing overall is shaping up. I mean, I think Apple's in an extremely strong position when it comes to where people spend time and money on their phones, which is a place where we think revenues are going to grow and engagement's going to grow for quite a while. I think people first started with being able to download content through iTunes and then be able to replay it whenever they wanted. And then we've seen things move to streaming services like Netflix, Spotify that are kind of personalization 1.0. And by that I mean they allowed you to watch or listen to whatever content you want whenever you want and offer personalized recommendations for you. But we think the next big stage of entertainment is going to be driven by truly personalized content, which is going to be software driven and is going to respond to a user's behavior, their decision making. It's going to allow them to have an identity inside of a world, and these are experiences that it's companies like Scopely provide that are far deeper engagements than passively consumed entertainment, and that's why we see the average player in our Yahtzee with Buddies game playing 54 times a day, and the average customer and across our network spends $75 a month compared to $9 a month for Netflix. And so what I think you're seeing is people are spending a lot more time in experiences that are personal and unique to them. And I think this trend on the iTunes video consumption is really a reflection of just people's consumption habits. And I think Apple's in an extremely good position when it comes to thinking about where are these software-powered entertainment experiences going over the next few years, because they have a huge footprint in the market, and it's going to be very difficult to displace them when it comes to being the primary distributor of these kinds of interactive experiences.
Well, you say Apple's in a good position there, but a lot of what you describe about that world that we're getting into maybe would seem to sideline the App Store and other approaches that Apple's had. I mean, does the approach have to change at all in terms of discovering how people come upon new apps, new games, things like that?
Well, I don't think they're on the sidelines at all, because they're taking 30% of the revenue that's spent in the App Store. So of that $28 billion of gross revenue, which by the way is 35% more on a gross basis than iPad sales last year, they're taking over $8 billion of that is going to Apple. And so I think with WWDC a few weeks ago, Apple previewed a new App Store that's going to be rolling out in the fall. Which just shows that they're very focused on driving more engagement with existing products. I think we're moving to a stage where they're focused more on helping people engage more with the products that they're already using, rather than just driving new downloads and new products. And you're seeing a huge emphasis from them on subscription revenue sales, which are growing exponentially, over $2 billion a year. And that $8 billion of App Store revenue for Apple is very high margin revenue relative to their hardware sales. And I think many analysts underappreciate how much higher margin revenue that is, and just what a great business it is for Apple.
Well, Walter, we want to see if these moves by Apple actually end up driving subscription revenue the way in-app purchase changed the game back then. Walter, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.